Hey, what's up folks? Starting out the vlog in the garage today, and as I promised you in my last video, I'm going to be spending an entire day working on the Jeep. I just got home from work, so today's the day. It is, looking at my phone, 7:41 a.m. So first things first, obviously I gotta get some heat in this garage. Some folks have asked about the heat that's in here. This is a wall-mounted Q-Mark unit. It's the MUD or MUH series, and it's thermostat controlled with a thermostat that's over here on the wall. So basically it takes about an hour to get it warm in here. But first things first, I gotta move the Jeep, and I gotta get it out here in the center where I got a lot more room to work around it. And what we're gonna do, we're gonna work on taking off the soft top and the windshield frame again and the tailgate, and then we're gonna prep the interior. I know it's dark in here, you can't see. We're gonna prep the interior so I can redo the floor and get that lined, and that's our goal for today. And so let's make it happen. I know I don't have the microphone on, I'm not sure how the audio is coming through, but I just wanted to get some raw, pure audio from the Jeep, you know, just to see what it sounds like without the lapel mic, which, I mean, it's gonna be fairly loud. So let's get busy. Okay, just a quick update here. It's I'm gonna take a break for lunch. It's about 11:30, and let's see, we took the antenna off, we took the windshield frame off again. Again, all the soft top components are off except for the bow assemblies, which I will more than likely just leave on there. Seat belts are out, and doing a little fiddling around back here. Because this was already black, basically what I did was cleaned it a little bit and then sprayed some matte black over the major scratches. And the reason I'm doing that is because I'm using this as kind of like a base coat, because when you use a bed liner on this, you don't need to strip it down and it doesn't need to be primered. When you do a bed liner type material on this, all you really have to do is scuff it. So that's why I just took a rattle can of some matte black and sprayed the worst areas as far as scratches, gouges, where you could see the original white paint from the factory. So after lunch, hopefully that'll be dried. Probably not, but because it's pretty chilly and kind of damp. But hopefully that'll just do okay there and dry up nicely. And then I'll go over what I did with the dash and stuff like that as a wrap up. So after lunch, it looks like tailgate will be coming off, and I don't think I have any more primer. I bet if I went to the store, I could get the windshield frame and the tailgate primered today as well. But anyway, you guys wanted a Jeep video, so we're doing as much work as we can today on little to no sleep at all, except for that quick nap this morning while the garage was heating up. Alright, so this time I have the lapel mic on here because I'm going to do kind of a wrap up. Took the tailgate off. I didn't go any further. I could have gone to the store and got primer. However, I worked all night last night and I just, I need to get some rest. I haven't been feeling good. I'm finally getting over being sick. So basically what I need to do, I need to go to the store. I need to get some primer. Excuse me. Primer the windshield frame and the tailgate. Get that done, and then I'll need to take off the hood, primer the hood, and then we are officially ready for paint after I do a little bit of wet sanding here, some fine tuning of the primer that's already there, and then we're going to paint it, okay? In the meantime, we're also going to bed line the interior here. I just did a little bit of touch-up work. Like I said, I want to get a black base coat over top of all the scratches and white paint. So I went ahead and did that back here in the back. And it's still a little tacky. Like I said, it's rather chilly in here. I turned the heat down to about 50, 45 or 50. And so that way when I open the door, it's not a total loss of heat. And oh my gosh, let's see, we got to talk about what I did here in the front. So as you remember, I discussed the ignition switch and how the tach and the fuel gauge would only work when the key was like right there's on, and you would turn it a little bit past on to about, I'm sorry, that's on, and you would turn it a little bit past that towards start, and then the tach and the fuel gauge would work. So I started thinking about the wiring, and obviously they have to have a 12-volt source of power. And I pulled up a couple schematics on my phone and found that you're supposed to tap it into either the battery or somewhere in the fuse box. I then remembered that this Jeep had pillar lights. It had a light mount here on the hinge, and you can see the holes are still there, and there were LED lights on the hinges here. Well, there were still wires run here out the sides, and what that wire is, it's switched, so when you would hit the switch, it would send 12 volts of power to the lamp, and the ground wire for the lamp was underneath the light mount. So that's how you had your positive and your negative to power the light. So I started thinking, Well, that's a 12-volt power source. It's switched. So if I find the power wire that goes to both gauges and I use the auxiliary light wire from here for the tach and the auxiliary light wire for the other side for the fuel gauge, in theory, in order for the gauges to work, I just have to flip the switch that was used to turn on the lights. So I tried it with the tach first and did a little testing, and by golly, it worked. So then I took the dash apart, which is a big mess because this is just some cheap plastic thing that somebody put in. It's junk, it really is, it looks like hell. But anyway, so I took that all apart and found the power wire on the back of the fuel gauge, ran that wire, connected it, tested it, good to go. So now, when I'm driving, basically after I get the Jeep started, I can flip the auxiliary light switch and my tach works and my fuel gauge works. So I'll do a little demonstration of that here as I jockey the Jeep around because I gotta move it over. In the winter time, I always park my truck in here too. And it makes it a pain in the butt because anytime I want to work on the Jeep, I got to move vehicles around. But I don't like my truck sitting outside in the winter, so. Okay, so getting ready to start it here. And I'm going to focus on the tach, I guess, because it's easier for me to reach as far as, you know, starting it and everything. All right, so kill switch is on. There goes the electric fan. Okay. So right now the motor's running, tach's not working. Neither is the fuel gauge. Right here is the auxiliary switch. Watch the tach. So there you can see the tach's working and the fuel gauge is working. If I turn it off, fuel gauge drops to E. Turn it on, comes back up. I'll tell you, it is cold out today, windy. So there goes the high idle for the choke. I'm trying to knock it down so it cold-blooded, I'll tell you. Come on down. There we go. All right, let's jockey this thing around here. Yep, we just stalled it. All right. Excuse me. Boy, when this thing is cold, it listen to that idle. Ay, ay, ay. Alright, let's try this again. That's going to stall out again. first this Jeep's been running in a couple weeks. I gotta let it idle a little bit. Definitely tell it's got a cam in it. It's not that it's super lopey, but just enough. All right. Still not close enough. Goodness gracious. There we go. So anyway, that's going to do it for today. Once I get some primer, I'll get everything sprayed up and we'll move forward with getting everything painted. We'll get the inside bed lined here. And then we're looking at working on seats and cage and harnesses and go from there. I think I want to kind of beat on it a little bit as a 4x4 before I do anything else with it. So that's why I really haven't done anything with the suspension or the tires. Because, you know, remember the original intention was to put the stock height, stock suspension back on it so it would be lower and a little bit more stable than what it is. But kind of want to beat on it a little bit. It's pretty cool little beater Jeep. So anyway, if you haven't yet subscribed, hit that subscribe button. I got some links down below. Again, CSE Off-Road, check them out for any Jeep parts and accessories you may need. And what else? Merchandise. I designed some new merchandise. Be sure to check that out. Click the link below, or you can go to my website too, and there should be a link there as well. Website is www.geartubetv.com, and obviously Facebook and Instagram as well. So be sure to check them out. Share some videos, get your friends to subscribe, and hope you enjoyed this video working on the Jeep. I know it's been a little while, so thank you guys for hanging in there, but we'll talk to you later. Take care. Bye-bye.